minimum income, the annual income to every person who needs an income, or every family that needs an income, would be a very valuable base in this complex economy of ours, and would tend to stabilize it, and would tend to encourage people to get in more actively, to earn so as to pay taxes, to keep the wheels spinning productively. Right now we waste hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars on welfare, on baling wire aid to people who need it. Our Department of Agriculture now is in trouble because they haven't been feeding people who go to bed starving. You know, all these things, hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, which could be changed, and we could begin to encourage more productive participation by those who are now not producing.
I'm sure it's justified to some extent, and it is to some extent nationally. I'm pleased to say that in Texas, though we feel we have high insurance rates, and insurance rates are never easy to pay, we're never happy to pay them. Texas ranks 27th in the nation. We rank lower than every other industrialized state, lower than every other heavily populated state in the nation in insurance rates, provided we are considering the same policy for the same type coverage. That on their earned premium, they actually earn 1.86%. Now, we have also conducted a study of 14 other major Texas companies who are operating in this state, who are licensed, home office, and incorporated in this state, and it shows that these 14 major industries had a net profit percentage of 3.76%, so that the automobile industry is actually 1.9 percentage points below that of these other 14 major Texas companies.
And what about the national average?
The national manufacturing corporate average for profit percent after all taxes and all expenses are paid is 5.04%, so that the Texas automobile insurance industry is therefore 3.18 percentage points below the national average.
I feel that jurors are entitled to know a little more than we're able to give them under the present rules of procedure. For instance, I feel that instead of instructing the jury, as we have to do now, that they must not discuss, allude to, nor consider the length of term or length of time in the penitentiary that a defendant will have to serve of the sentence given them, that is wrong, and that they should be given complete facts. And I think that if they knew that when they gave a man 21 years or 20 years in the penitentiary, that the Board of Pardon and Paroles would be able to consider him after he'd served or been given credit for a third of the time served, that the jury would be able to determine more to their satisfaction what kind and character of punishment they were giving the defendant. Now, I have no criticism at all of the penitentiary system as we are operating now, and of the Board of Pardon and Paroles. I think it's a wonderful improvement on the past.
There's no comparison. The French don't have a strike. They have the beginnings of anarchy. The students, such as the students of Columbia University in the United States, they wanted better classrooms. They wanted better dormitories. The French educational system is atrocious. And so the students began. Now we have the new Maoist left who read the quotations of Chairman Mao of China. Well, they came to the forefront and they began to lead. That has the elements of anarchy. Well, once the French government capitulated to the students, why, the labor movement saw that, and the biggest of the labor federations in France happens to be run by the communists. Not the Maoist communists now. There are rightist communists today, and there are leftist communists. So these are the moderate communists that run CGT, which is the biggest of the federations of labor in France. And they got into the act. Just that simple. They got into the act to clean up some of their wages and working conditions. And the French government capitulated again. So they're going to negotiate in another 48 hours. And behind it all is just the French temperament to have a period of stability and then have a period of instability. And they're getting tired of de Gaulle, I guess, and so they're ready to have some instability, and this is the way the French do it.
The state Supreme Court refused to hear the case because they said they didn't have jurisdiction. Do you think this could have had some political overtones or undertones beneath it?
Well, the fact remains that the justices of the Supreme Court, I think, are pretty well beyond this. It's just the fact that it was simply not a matter that they could have jurisdiction over.
What will be your chances of winning with the election as it's set now as compared to what it could be if you had a separate election? Will it hurt you?
Oh, most definitely it will hurt. Matter of fact, we would probably consider anything from 10% of the vote on up on Saturday to be quite a moral victory against the political machinery.